Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Refresher, brought to you by the Recruitment Roundup and all of us here at BMS Performance. The Refresher is a much shorter episode than our usual episodes and is designed to provide key takeaways with a whole host of subjects that we talk about in relation to recruitment, sales training, and everything else that we speak about on the show. So hope it's really helpful. And yeah, let's get stuck into it.
In terms of, the plethora and the different kinds of businesses that you're working with, I imagine that there are probably a lot of common sort of challenges, maybe traits and behaviors that you're seeing. So I don't know, do you want to shed a bit of light as to what some of those things might be? If it could be, I don't know, sales training or, recruitment. What are the things that you're seeing?
It's a great question because I've been putting a lot of thought in. After 2 years of doing this now and having conversations with other sales geeks up and down the country, there are some common themes and they do come through loud and clear, irrespective of where you are on that turnover. We're on that turnover spectrum where you are. There's some common themes that run through it for sure. I mean, to put it back into your your world and what you guys are professional at doing, recruitment is for sure a challenge. And people in general over the last couple of years, we all talk about pre-COVID and post-COVID, don't we, in terms of, that's certainly a challenge, being able to find the right level of talent at the right time for your business, so somebody coming with previous experience or somebody coming through that hasn't got that experience, irrespective of where they are on that spectrum, finding the right caliber of candidate with the right expectations is really difficult and is a real challenge for businesses. You guys probably know what the market is like, more than anybody, right? In terms of the pressures at the moment, the challenges that businesses are finding talent. But the bit that then tees into that bit is that most businesses don't tend to have a really nuanced people strategy, right? So they're not thinking about succession planning and development of the individual. So they find themselves having the need to go out to market for all of their talents rather than having a nice sort of pipeline of individuals coming through the organization that they could invest some time and effort into to be able to get them on that sort of. So that's definitely another challenge. And that, surprisingly, I thought, when I was working with businesses that would be probably 2 million in turnover and above, that they probably on the journey to getting that cracked a little bit. But actually, the reverse is they probably found themselves topping out a little bit because they don't have the talent to be able to get them to that next stage, and they're realizing it a bit too sort of late. I mean, you could just have a podcast on mindset, right? Because it's so critical and so underutilized and not often discussed. So, it's that classic thing, right? Growth and fixed mindset, it goes to ultimately, doesn't it? And I know lots of people put lots of words in front of mindsets, but ultimately they're describing a growth or a fixed mindset in some form or another. And when we start any session with people, we talk about the concept of growth and fixed mindset. And we talk about some of the attributes that you can put towards an individual who demonstrates one mindset or the other. And similarly, like I said to you about your perception of salespeople, we sort of ask people, well, do you know of an individual who fits that attributes for a fixed mindset? And do you know an individual who who has those attributes for a growth mindset? And more often than not, most people straight away kind of, they don't put their hand up. They kind of look to the left and look to the right as if to say, but then the education piece, you talk to people about mindset in general, and there's a broader understanding of what that means, but not at the deep level to understand that it starts with that, right? With, if nothing else, if you've got that growth mindset, funnily enough, things start going well in your life. And we talked about this. I might be go off topic a little bit. We talked about this the other day. There's been a sort of there's a really great book. I think it's called Coddling of the American Mind. It's called, by Jonathan Haidt. It's a really fantastic book.
Coddling of the American Mind.
Coddling of the American Mind. Yeah, it's a really great book. And there's a lot of that in terms of what was very fashionable in a parenting style over the last God knows how many years, was to tell your children that you're brilliant and you're great at everything, right? Really building up their self-esteem, okay? And saying to that you're perfect the way you are, right? Don't let anybody tell you any different, right? It's seen as a very positive way of parenting, but actually there's a generation of individuals that are coming through that have been told that, and actually it's developed a fixed mindset, because they don't believe they need to. They're not thinking I'm not the finished article. They're thinking I am the finished article, right? There's nothing I can learn and nothing I can do to develop myself further. And the opposite is actually true. And you just see that coming through in a lot of individuals, that it's not negative or positive. It's just they don't know any different with regards to, there's an element that things will come easy to me and I don't have to work at it, and I am the finished article, where the opposite is actually true. Yeah, it's that sort of classic 4P sort of stuff, isn't it, for us? You're looking at the people review and the process and various other, the product and various other stuff. And I think I go back to my sort of initial introduction, right? I was ridiculously fortunate, and it was pure luck that I joined an organization that fundamentally believed that development of the individual is going to underpin the success of the business. And actually, I can remember my old sort of sales leader mentor very early on in my first line sales management career asking me a question. And he said, Aaron, what's your primary responsibility as a sales leader? And being new into that role, you thought, this is a trick question, right? I'm going to say, really, it's sales, right? It's growing revenue is my primary goal here, because that's my end goal, right? To put that 10% on. And he sort of cut me to the quick, because I said that, and I said it with energy and vigor. It's sales. And he said, no, it's your people. Good luck with any revenue growth, good luck with any strategy, good luck with anything else. If you're not developing your people and performance managing your people in a positive way, good luck with whatever targets you want to be able to hit. So you've got a mindset shift towards what are you doing to develop the individual, and how are you raising skill levels and pushing performance, and not pushing performance, encouraging performance, right? And so I only knew that environment. So I kind of was a little bit naive when I came out of that business after 14 years, thinking, well, everybody works this way, right?
Sounds like that guy was ahead of his time. To an extent,
but Americans, right, as well. So the positive with regards to a large corporate American business, they kind of really understood that at the core of them. So I've not done anything groundbreaking in terms of my existing clients. I've just tried to sort of morph that maybe in a smaller way to begin with, and then scale that up in terms of asking that question first. What are you doing to develop the individual? Tell me about what that process is and how you're going through that. And then everything else will fall into place as a result of it. So it's not groundbreaking, and it might be just iteration for some customers sort of larger sort of turnover. But fundamentally, through all of them, the theme is they'll have performance reviews, they'll have one-to-ones, they'll be looking at KPIs, and they'll be looking at spreadsheets and various other stuff. But they think that's the primary function of how you drive a sales team forward, and it's not. It's there's a huge mindset and skill set piece underpinning all of that to be able to then do that next bit. I mean, you could just have a podcast on mindset, right? Because it's so critical and so underutilized and not often discussed. So it's that classic thing, right? Growth and fixed mindset it goes to ultimately, doesn't it? And I know lots of people put lots of words in front of mindsets, but ultimately they're describing a growth or a fixed mindset in some form or another. And when we start any session with people, we talk about the concept of growth and fixed mindset. And we talk about some of the attributes that you can put towards an individual who demonstrates one mindset or the other. And similarly, like I said to you about your perception of salespeople, we sort of ask people, well, do you know of an individual who fits that attributes for a fixed mindset? And do you know an individual who who has those attributes for a growth mindset? And more often than not, most people straight away kind of, they don't put their hand up. They kind of look to the left and look to the right as if to say, but then the education piece, you talk to people about mindset in general, and there's a broader understanding of what that means, but not at the deep level to understand that it starts with that, right? With, if nothing else, if you've got that growth mindset, funnily enough, things start going well in your life. And we talked about this. I might go off topic a little bit. We talked about this the other day. There's been a sort of there's a really great book. I think it's called Coddling of the American Mind. It's called, by Jonathan Haidt. It's a really fantastic book.
Coddling of the American Mind.
Coddling of the American Mind. Yeah, it's a
down.
really great book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's a lot of that in terms of what was very fashionable in a parenting style over the last God knows how many years, was to tell your children that you're brilliant and you're great at everything, right? Really building up their self-esteem, okay? And saying to that you're perfect the way you are, right? Don't let anybody tell you any different, right? It's seen as a very positive way of parenting, but actually there's a generation of individuals that are coming through that have been told that, and actually it's developed a fixed mindset, because they don't believe they need to. They're not thinking I'm not the finished article. They're thinking I am the finished article, right? There's nothing I can learn and nothing I can do to develop myself further. And the opposite is actually true. And you just see that coming through in a lot of individuals, that it's not negative or positive. It's just they don't know any different with regards to, there's an element that things will come easy to me and I don't have to work at it, and I am the finished article, where the opposite is actually true.
Thank you everyone for listening to that. Hope it was really helpful, and we look forward to providing loads of great key takeaways in the future on the Refresher, brought to you by the Recruitment Roundup. If you haven't yet subscribed to us or given us a follow, please do. It makes a huge difference. For those of you who haven't done this and want to know where to find us, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, and we're on YouTube, and you'll see loads of content that goes out on LinkedIn. So be sure to check on that, and as I say, give us a follow. Thank you very much for listening, and hope this episode has been of great use.